Hi, welcome back to Index Card a Day 2017 with me, Creative Katie. It's card 24, Dragonflies Appear. Check the description box for links to any of the supplies used. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and select the option of being notified of upcoming videos.
Hi everybody, Karen Burchill here. Today I am going off prompt and I'm going instead with something that I was inspired by something that happened to me when I was outside yesterday. There was a dragonfly, this great big beautiful dragonfly that was just in my backyard the entire time I was there. Every time I turned around it was there and dancing around and moving around, and it kept coming back and forth and back and forth. So I am going to use that as my inspiration. So I went and I went to my file folder in my big blue box. So this is Bugs and Birds, and it has all sorts of free printables and magazines and that kind of stuff. And I pulled a whole bunch of my free printables. And if you're looking for something like this, just, go on to Pinterest, find, do a search for free printables, dragonflies, and you will find these. I love them. I've printed them out on a little heavier paper. Some of them are just on copy paper. And I just cut them out with an X-Acto knife. So I grabbed those so that is, some perfect, beautiful colors. I went on to Pinterest and found some quotes as well about dragonflies. I have a whole little write-up about what a dragon symbolizes. I found two quotes. It says, "When a dragonfly appears in your yard, it's a visitor from heaven." And that's kind of a nice way of thinking. Obviously, I was being visited, and dragonflies appear when angels are near. So those and all these quotes, they can be found in my Pinterest on a board called ICAD Quotes. If you're looking for any inspiration or just want to find, I've done some of the searching for you. So I grabbed this stencil. This was a cut file that I purchased off Silhouette.
So I tried putting gesso through the stencil with a makeup sponge, and it really didn't give me the effect I was looking for. So I scraped it all off and applied another coat of gesso just to even things out, and decided to use my flexible modeling paste. Now the problem here is this stencil is made out of tag board, and as I discovered, it pretty much disintegrated. It ripped, and I will have to cut another one, which is no problem at all. But just if you're attempting to use paper stencils, just know that you may in fact ruin them. So I'm just tidying it up a little bit and scraping off areas that it kind of smooshed under. Again, with the paper stencil, there's not a whole lot there, but all in all, it gave a pretty good print. And I think had it been a cut out of plastic instead of paper that was already wet by the gesso. So once everything's dry, I'm just reapplying that one dragonfly. And I'm applying the modeling paste because I want it to act as a resist. So based on the color of possible dragonflies, I grab a bunch of blue and purple tones. And that container that it was in, that's a takeout container. So they make perfectly great storage bins. So I am just putting this on a few of these colors. I just kind of want a nice blue purpley background, as if that was the sky. And I'm using my Dilutions white paint to help blend the distress crayons. You have to work it into the nooks and crannies and then stop every once in a while and dry it. If you don't allow enough dry time in between, I found it got a little sticky, but that dissipated as soon as I really dried it. So sometimes you just need to back off. And again, my modeling paste wasn't completely dry on the one dragonfly, and it kind of messed up a little bit. I'm just adding more color, and I'm just going to continue layering the colors until I get the tones that I like, that I find pleasing. There is no right or wrong, and sometimes when I watch these videos, when I'm doing the voiceovers, I'm thinking, okay, why didn't I stop there? Because you get a little bit different perspective. So I'm really liking the look of it. You can even see the texture of the dragonflies. And here I'm taking a wet baby wipe and I'm just removing the paint off of the area where I put the modeling paste. Now my intention when I initially did this was that I was going to leave it white. And that is what you can totally do. It kind of looks distressed. And that would have been perfectly lovely. But then I got another idea. And when you get those ideas mid-creation, you got to go with it. I'm just adding more highlights here and there, getting some dark blue, and taking the time to dry. I was finding it kind of a little bit tacky and hard to manipulate the Distress crayon, but that had to do with me not drying it well enough. And I got some violet out because I'm thinking, oh, I've got that pink dragonfly. I want a little bit of that pinky color in the sky to coincide with that dragonfly. I find using the Distress crayons really easy and it makes for a quicker project. They just seem to go on. I'm just edging it with the darkest blue that I have. One thing you might note, I never give or rarely give the exact colors because I think you can pick your own colors. That's not so important. Now I'm going to use this Pebeo Dyna, and it's this iridescent blue-green, and I decide to paint the dragonflies, which in one sense pushes it back, and in another sense makes it stand out because it's iridescent. But as I look at it and it's across the room and I can see that iridescence there, I really like. Now, if you don't have the iridescent stuff, you can buy the iridescent medium, an Artist Loft brand or Golden brand if you want, and mix it with distress crayons, bits of distress crayons or gelatos or acrylic paint to get the color that you want. And you will get an iridescent kind of look. It won't be two-toned like the Dynas, but it'll be perfectly lovely. So don't think you need to buy everything. So when I decided to use this blue-green iridescent, it kind of changed my thinking about which dragonfly I wanted to use. And since I had some leftovers, I decided that I'm going to splatter. So after a quick dry, I'm trying out the Dragonflies. I'm auditioning them with the quote that I have. And the quote that I chose here was, "Dragonflies appear when angels are near." And then I find this one, and it has that teal in it. It also has kind of the purple in it, and it just seems to be a match. So I'm going to edge this with black acrylic paint. And this time I just grabbed my dilutions. I think it was already out on my desk. I'm applying it with a felt applicator. And then I'm darkening the edges. I don't always do this. I've started doing it a little bit more. I have mixed feelings about whether it makes that big of a difference, but that might be because of some of the other steps that I do. So playing around with the dragonfly where the placement is. And, just trimming up that quote. So I played with a variety of fonts, and I just mixed 2 fonts. And just playing and seeing where I like it to be. And I go back and forth and back and forth. Sometimes I take a picture of it and then compare, because sometimes that just gives me the perspective I need. And I'm edging the sentiment. I find this makes a difference because it just kind of makes it stand up a little bit more from the background. So while I was inspired by the dragonfly yesterday, just after I finished this video, I went outside in the yard and I had 2 dragonflies that were dancing around. And, I like to think that it is a couple loved ones that have come to visit. I know not everybody believes that, but it kind of puts a smile on my face to think that that might be the case. Dragonflies also symbolize transformation and change and growth and maturity, and really symbolize a lot of things that really stand for what's happened in my life over the last year. Everything in my life has changed from last year this time to now. I live in a new province. I am retired. We have a brand new house. We have a brand new yard. There's just so many things. I have new friends here that I share my love of mixed media with, or my Mixed Media Mayhem group. And yeah, the dragonfly just made me reflect on all of this. This video in real time took about 30 minutes for this card to get done. Here I'm floating, and just to make the dragonfly pop from the background. This is really necessary when the background is a similar color to the focal point. You could do this with a Stabilo all pencil or charcoal pencil or watercolor pencil. More times than not, and you've seen me doing it, I go for the acrylic because it's right there. I always have the black on hand. And I'm adjusting some of the free printable as well. And that's why I put a coat of gel medium on top, because then it will take the acrylic paint all the better. Here are some close-ups of the finished card. I hope you like it as much as I do. You can see that iridescence. It just makes it a little bit special in the background. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.